Okay, let's do a little bit of Raw first before we get to SmackDown Live. I only got two things to say. Well, three. One, Raw was a monumental... I'm botching the words. It's so bad, I don't even know what word to call it. That's how bad Raw was last night. Now, Brock Lesnar beating up on Paul Heyman the week before, most people loved it. I didn't really care that much about it because it doesn't really matter. Then you get this segment with Paul Heyman and Renee Young trying to elaborate on what happened to Paul Heyman. Now, one thing must be made very clear, and I'm going to give it credit. At least Paulie did try to give sympathy. He did. He did try to give some sympathy, and I'm sure it worked on most people. But I still see this for what it is. Nothing. If your show is crap, and you're trying to push somebody that nobody generally wants, maybe 90% don't want, and maybe 10% do want, you have nothing to work with, and it means nothing. Brock Lesnar beating up on Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman saying, one, I can't get any calls from him. I wish he still thought of me as a friend and a confidant. He's the reigning defending champion. I wanted to go off in the sunset with him. Rollback Mountain. If anyone's heard of that. And Roman Reigns stands no chance. Meant nothing. Period. If anyone thinks it meant something, tell me below. But it didn't mean anything. It just was empty. It was empty because of the fact that nobody's caring enough about Roman Reigns to make it interesting. Hell, it would have been easier to go in Pensacola, Florida than Orlando, Florida to get even more people to cheer for Roman Reigns because that's where he's from. You're better off going to Pensacola, Florida than Orlando because then maybe his home crowd would have cheered even louder for him. It just was a waste. Second thing was even worse, which made the show completely unwatchable. The ending. It wasn't the fact that we had Ronda Rousey at the end of the show. It wasn't the fact that Alexa Bliss was out there. It wasn't the fact that Natalya was out there or the person in question, Alicia Fox. And I want to say this to everyone who pretty much can't stand Alicia. Look, I see it for what she is. She came in when she was a teenager, about 18, 19 years old, and she's been in the company over 11 years or 12 years already. She has earned, to a certain extent, a little respect. I'm not saying to respect and say she's the best worker. She's not. I'm not saying she's the best worker. I'm just being honest. 100% honest that I see her as someone who's been in the business for quite a while, where most who have been better than her burnt out fast or just got sick of it. She's there. I respect her for that. But you need to use her in a proper way. She had nothing to work with. They told her act crazy with no script, it looked like. The script they gave her was garbage, so it was like she had no script and just going off the cuff sucked. Then, the ring work. Look, you can say a lot about Alicia. She, at least to a certain extent, can wrestle. Not saying perfect, but she can competently wrestle. Then you look at Ronda Rousey, who's been in this business only a few months and is still doing mostly MMA types of moves. And when you see it compared to a barely competent or competent wrestler in Alicia Fox, 100% you see her weakness. She should never been given this position. It's basically a catch-22 when it comes to SummerSlam and her with Alexa Bliss. You don't want her to lose, but then if you let her win, she looks absolutely terrible. This match indicated how bad she was. She's not ready on the main roster. She should have been having dark matches more than main event matches. And this is how bad this show was. They're ruining Ronda Rousey. I don't care what anyone says. Ronda is being ruined. You see me botching. She's ruined here. She shouldn't be doing this. She should be doing small matches and building up to it, not getting this big push. It's dumb. Now, let's get into the show. I'm sorry this took so long, but I had to say it. Now, let's go through most of what went through this show. The Miz segment with Brian Saxton. Saxton. I'm mispronouncing the guy. I don't remember him. Anyway, was it good? Yes. It's good how The Miz talks. It's good, The Miz segment. And then Daniel Bryan going in and beating the crap out of him and trying to escape from him was good. But I'm saying this honestly, there's no story. I know people want to say there's a story. No, there isn't. There's no story here. This should not be done right now. Daniel Bryan should have been losing and losing. And then The Miz basically hounding him because he's losing. And then he starts rising and winning and then get a payout. This way, he's been winning and it's boring. And I'm not against The Miz. I love The Miz. I like Daniel Bryan. They both got great chemistry. But this story sucks. And I'm being honest about it. The Daniel Bryan and Miz story sucks. Maybe I'll do a video about it. Let's move on. AJ Styles segment. Now, I'll say this. Last week, Samoa Joe nailed it. Here, I don't know about AJ nailing it. I'm not saying he did a bad job. I'm not. He did a good job. But it wasn't as impactful as Samoa Joe. Maybe it was because the writing of it was just, it sucked. Maybe it was because he tried to sell it too much. And maybe then it just didn't take. I just didn't feel like it was totally effective. It was partially effective. I'm still interested in seeing that match at SummerSlam. But it still feels like there's not enough there. That's just me. Let's move on. Rusev at ringside with almost when Lana and Zelina Vega, and I think I pronounced her name properly this time. Ugh. Once we see these two women in the ring, look, Zelina Vega, Rosita, is a superior wrestler. When it comes to Lana, she is not a superior wrestler. And when you see Zelina Vega having to slow down to compensate for Lana's inexperience, it shows. I'm sorry. That should have been a much more higher paced match, and it was not. Now, before this match, you got Aiden English coming to both of them and pretty much saying, look, I screwed up. I'm sorry. Please, I didn't mean to make any trouble. I care about you guys. And Rusev forgave him, but he also told him do not come to ringside, which later he did once Rusev got his ass handed to him a little bit. And that ruined the match for Lana. Why are they still going with this? Why? I don't understand. What if you guys are happy to see Rusev separate from Aiden English, explain the reason why they need to be separated. Explain the reason why Rusev, who may have had some traction, needed a mouthpiece to truly get over Aiden English for being almost used for nothing. And the minute that he worked with Rusev and became that mouthpiece, I'm botching. Look, both these guys still need one another. Both these guys are actually good together. With Lana, it's better. You got Lana needing a mouthpiece, and Aiden English can be that for her. You got Rusev needing a mouthpiece, Aiden English can be that for him. But if you're going to separate the three, it's stupid. But I want to know your thoughts. Tell me below the reason why I'm wrong. There you go. Now, we had a Randall Keith Orton segment at the very opening of the show. And the crowd popped for him. I could be wrong. But the crowd legitimately popped for Randall Keith Orton being a legend killer type of character again. And it was interesting. You normally don't see legend killer Randy Orton being popped for when he's trying to destroy somebody. He tried to put over Matt Hardy. No, not Matt Hardy. You know the reason why I said Matt? is because he is the broken Matt Hardy. Even if he can't use the word broken, he's got to use woken. He's not doing that well, but he is using the character that he's known for the indies and had literally blown up because of it. Now you have Jeff, who is not doing the Brother Nero character. He's doing the charismatic enigma. He needs to be the charismatic... No, not the charismatic enigma. I'm worried. That's the reason I botched. I'm worried they're going to keep doing the charismatic enigma instead of doing the Brother Nero segment. He needs to be Brother Nero. It's necessary for him by SummerSlam. If he doesn't become Brother Nero, I don't really care. I don't want to see the charismatic enigma. Now, since we are talking about the US title, tell me, why did we have a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and R-Truth? Why? And then Ty Dillinger was basically seen in the interview with Shinsuke Nakamura and R-Truth. Why? I don't understand. What does this give for R-Truth? Mind you, I don't hate R-Truth. I like him. I want him to go back to being a freaking heel again. Yes, he may like being a face. Yes, he's happy being a face. And people do like him as a face. But he's so superior as a heel. And I felt, what was the end result of this match? Shinsuke Nakamura getting a match with R-Truth where he shouldn't have struggled at all? And he was struggling with R-Truth. He shouldn't have been struggling. No Jeff Hardy came out. No Randall Keith Orton came out. Nobody. It was just him and R-Truth. It was so random. And it felt like a waste of time for both of them. I don't know. I want to see R-Truth do something. But if this is it, I don't care. Okay, let's get this done. The match between the Iconics and Becky and Charlotte. I remember, what is the guy's name? John, I can't remember his name. John, New York. Someone gave me a connection to him. I may try to get his YouTube name and flash it right below me. This time I'll try to remember to make it in white instead of blue. But he basically said the Iconics cannot wrestle and Lana can wrestle better than them. Now, I don't generally disagree with him. Because as much as I don't believe Lana is a good wrestler right now, she just is not that good. At least she has been with other wrestlers that have helped her a bit. When it comes to the Iconics, they are glorified managers. I'm not against Peyton Royce. I'm not against Billie Kay. I would marry either one of them. They're that beautiful. And for what I understand, they're both sweet. But as wrestlers, they just don't have it. Maybe it's because they're still very green, which is the truth. They're both so green right now, they look even worse than they should. But it's just, I wish they had not wrestled. It just looked bad. Now, when it came to Becky and Charlotte, I'm just not feeling this. Mind you, I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but because we know that Charlotte, one of her breasts actually had been damaged, and she had surgery to get it fixed and replaced, I gotta say this, I think her tits look bigger. They look good. I think she got bigger size a little bit. If she's got the same size, cool, but they look a little bigger. So, not bad, even though you got no hips. But anyway, seeing this situation is not comfortable for me. Because they're sticking Charlotte in there because she's a Flair. And it's not working. It's not. And the match indicates that because she won it. And you see Charlotte compared to Becky. People want to see Becky Balboa. They do. Nobody wants to see Charlotte in this situation. At least not everybody. But because the WWE is shoving her down her throat. And I've said this, I'm going to keep saying it. If Charlotte didn't act like her father, I really believe that her wrestling ability would be way better. But as it stands right now, still being like her dad, she sucks as a wrestler. I'm saying it. I don't care if anyone thinks I'm a complete moron. You give me one indication, I'm repeating this again, and no one's taking me to task because they know I'm right. Not one time have you seen Charlotte go up against someone she's not highly familiar with or who is not a very competent wrestler like an Asuka. If it's somebody she's not familiar with that's not a very good wrestler, she looks absolutely hideous. And that's the truth. And I don't want to see Charlotte. It's just a waste of my time and yours. But let's move on to, let's see. I'm not going to say anything about the Bludgeon Brothers. It's not worth it. It's just bad. But I am going to talk about New Day versus The Bar. And this is the end of the review. And I just got to say this. It was a great match. I don't have many scenes of it because I was watching it. But in the end, no matter how great the match was, it is the same old thing. We now have New Day going up against... Look, I don't hate New Day. What happened with Kofi Kingston was freaking funny. What was it? What was this? Kramer Kingston. Or Connor Kingston. I don't remember the guy. Kramer Kingston was freaking hilarious. That was funny. You guys tell me if you didn't like it. I liked it. It was funny. I didn't mind the blonde wig. I didn't mind. It was funny. But once we came to the match, it was a great match. Day one. Why? We're getting a repeat match again with no Bar. If the Bar were the ones who won the titles and going up against New Day, it would be generally a fresh match because we haven't seen a fresh match of New Day in the Bar in quite a long time. Other than this match right here. I would have been glad to see that. But no. The Bar now jobs to New Day so they can go up against the Bludgeon Brothers over at SummerSlam, which makes no sense. Look, I love New Day, but not in this situation where the Bar should be the one that's going up against Bludgeon Brothers. Take them out, and then you can deal with the Usos. Then you can deal with New Day. Then you can deal with Sanity. Then you can deal with Bludgeon Brothers. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen. But as it stands now, I don't care about it now. I don't care about the tag team division now. Because New Day is going to go up against the Bludgeon Brothers. And either one, they're going to win. And it'll be the same old thing. Yes, the Usos will come at them. Yes, the Bar will come at them. But it won't be like the Bar being chased after. It'll be New Day being chased after. I want something new. The same old thing. I'm bored with it. Give me something new, please. But this is just me. You guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace. And I'm sorry I was sick last week and I didn't do my Impact review. And 2, I am going to do a short video about Daniel Bryan and about The Miz. Peace.